I talked about last time. No, what is no aggregation? Right. So what the thing? Huh? No. No aggregation means we used to long time back. About I started this industry like 15 years back, right? So aggregation means we had transaction tables. Transaction tables when I would have a table called customer sales history, right? Customers would buy things, buy things, parts. They would buy a part X, part Y, part X, part Y. It's like GM, right, or Ford. So they would how many parts are at any given time people are buying, right? Million cars, billion parts, right? Everybody's buying um, oil filters, wind wipers, and compressor, whatever. People are buying tires, all these things, right? There are transaction data. You know, okay. Some marketing guy or sales guy comes and says, I want to know, drill down, how many how many oil filters does people buy in a given day, and where are these people being, in what location, geographical region are these actually people buying? Okay, you're talking like 200 million records to query that information, right? So what we used to do at the time is, okay, your people are entering the key data, so we don't want to disturb you, so you will leave the database the way it is, and at night time, evening, we would take the database and we make a copy. Okay, and then we would leave the transaction data the way it is. Okay, people are keying in, right? People are looking up, and we take the database and then we would summarize it. So we would create summary tables, one table for month, one table by region, one table. So we would create summary tables, and then we would, on the top of that, we would create another summary tables. So we would take that summary table and then slice it by month. Okay, slice it by Texas, slice it by New York, slice it by country, slice it by part categories, and then put some kind of a reporting tools, like Excel or some kind of reporting tool on top of that. So that's called aggregation. So we used to create tables, aggregate, and then create, and then get to a certain level where it's reported. So HANA, you don't need to do those aggregations. You don't need to aggregate things because it's real time, it's in memory, it has a power just to bypass all those layers, just like that.
Suppose we have one set of table which is like done, complete table, and we are using the reporting, and tomorrow somebody comes and makes some changes in the existing table. Will that automatically reflect in the
It's
report?
really, you're reporting off that table, off that one table. Everything is off that that one table. So HANA certified providers, I'm just gonna skip through it. So there are three HANA editions. One is called the platform edition, mostly for people using for ETLs, or using mostly for business objects and data services. It is a low level license. The next level license is the HANA Enterprise Edition, where you can get the HANA Studio, where you can actually get replication. You would get the data services, you would get business objects licenses. It's much more powerful license. You also have the HANA Enterprise Extended license. So you have three licenses that you need to be aware of when you get into HANA. HANA, again, SAP is an in-memory appliance. It's not a database. It's an appliance. It's hardware and software combined together, and it processes high volumes of transactions. Okay, and also once the data is in memory, departments or users can instantly look up individual line items for mass lists. We talked about sales, service records, and streamline the workflow, and all those different topics. Okay, the key differentiators for HANA is that HANA provides standard interfaces to move data in and out. Okay, provides us standard interfaces. It can do real-time transaction data. HANA can connect to real-time transaction data directly, from the business suite, which is SAP. Okay, business suite, which is SAP. HANA can transfer data between your BW, NetWeaver, operation data back and forth. Right. So we talked about that. It also has real-time replication. You can take the business objects and you can replicate the data back and forth in real time using the replication services. Okay, so it has the standard interfaces to move data. It can connect to and from real-time transaction data. It or it can store from the business objects, and it can also do real-time replication of the data from any different systems. They purchased Sybase long time back. Sybase had the replication technology, so they are using that replication technology. The most powerful tool we're going to be spending a lot of time is called data modeling tool. Data modeling is basically a, if you are used to it, it's like a joins. You take a table, take another table, you join it, and you project the table, and then you report on it. It's a mostly SQL. You need to know what a left join is, right join is, what is a where clause is, what an SQL is. If you don't know SQL, refresh your SQL memory a little bit and learn about, how the SQL statements work. And also HANA comes with a lot of the BI, tools. It has Lumira, MDX, SQL, a lot of the, on the top layer, you can see that it has a lot of reporting tools to present, the data. So it's a complete ecosystem where you can store the data, transfer the data, transform the data, and report the data. Okay, it has all the tools kind of built into, one thing. This is how it works. And you have the SAP Business Suite, that is the core SAP. You're transferring the data to HANA platform in real time. So whatever you're inputting here, it's showing up here. You're also importing data from other sources such as NetWeaver, Business Warehouse, Oracle systems, mainframe systems, Excel sheets, internet. So all those systems, you're transforming it and you're modeling it. You're joining the tables, you're projecting the tables, you're doing analysis, right here, and then presenting the data into SAP Business Objects tools, Crystal reports, query tools, Lumira, HTML, Java, any of the applications, any of the presentation layers, you can take the data and consume the data using the presentation layer. So it is a complete system. It's a complete ecosystem, comes with all the tools that are required for you. Transfer the data, replicate the data, model the data, join the data, massage the data, and present the data. Right? It has complete all the tools kind of built into one thing. Typically, we have you have a database one thing, and you have a presentation layer one thing, and you have a replication engine one thing, and you have an ETL one thing. So you get this one combines all the things together for you. Okay, when one transformation. So that's why it makes it easy. That's what makes it difficult. You need to know what is an ETL or what is an ETL. You need to learn about it. Okay, you need to learn about what is the other data source mean, what is an ODBC mean, what is an OLAP means, what is an OLTP means. So you're going back to the very, very, very basics of IT, information systems, management systems, computer information. This is what they all kind of teach, the basic ETLs, batch loads, data, what is a row, what is a table, what is the column, what is a row store, what is a data structure, what is a linked list. I know there's a lot of concepts here, kind of brushing through it, but if you want to get down your confidence level, you need to kind of brush through all these different topics. Okay, this course will be very easy if you've already been through like an IT class or computer science class before. It'll be like a breeze through for you, but if not, you have to kind of work through the class. So HANA appliance refers to a server box. We talked about it. HANA database, it's an in-memory database. Databases typically were not in memory. It was used to be based on a solid state drive. They would read and write to the disk. That's what they would spend most of the time, reading and writing to the disk. That's where the performance bottlenecks were. So that HANA alleviated that using this hybrid in-memory database where all the data is in memory in random access in read-only memory. And it has a multi-core architecture. We saw that, and also we saw the HANA Studio, which provides an environment for HANA administrators to manage, monitor both the data models, the architecture, the performance, the security. All those things are managed using HANA Studio. And now we'll look at that today. We'll log into HANA Studio. We'll look at how the HANA Studio looks like. We did talk about the real-time replication of data. We did talk about the HANA Business Objects, data services. Okay. Let me give me a second here. Who has it here? Does anybody have a question online for people who joined?
Not from my side.
Again, this is another way of looking at HANA. HANA has, again, we talked about row store, columns. These boxes will get bigger and bigger and bigger, right, as we go along. So HANA has a lot more. It's like layers of. It's like an onion. So we're peeling onion one layer at a time. So there was a simpler view. there is a little bit complicated view, and then we're going to get into more complicated views, right, of how things are. And then we're going to be learning about each of those things. We're going to be learning about HANA Studio. We'll be learning about HANA Database. We'll be learning about calculation engine. We'll be learning about planning engine. We'll be learning about row store. We'll be learning about column store. We'll be learning about replication of data. We'll be learning about business object data services. We'll be learning about what an SQL is, what a MDX is, what query tools are. We'll be learning about each of those different sources as we go along. Okay, and this is another way of talking about this HANA appliance. Appliance comes with HANA Studio. It comes with the in-memory database, and it also comes with all the tools to replicate the data and also transform the data for you. Okay, so this presentation will be online. There are a lot of material, and the links are here. These are hyperlinks for you guys. This is SAP HANA community, and this is another hyperlink for you guys. And you can see SAP HANA backup recovery, SAP HANA technical operations, SAP HANA server installation. So all these different things are basically the guides, the implementation, the details of the stuff we're talking about are over here. I mean, it's a lot of reading. I mean, lots and lots of reading for you if you want to get a lot more details into what's going on. And the links are hyperlinks are here. One hyperlink is SAP HANA.community. Another one is the partner edge, which takes you directly to the OSS messages. Okay. And I think this is where actually you can actually buy or purchase okay, get started. So this is where all the documentation is at. You can sign up for free HANA. You can HANA does what? I mean, it does a lot more than I talked about. It does predictive analysis. Okay, so I need somebody from this class to talk about predictive analysis, kind of getting into statistics. Now you're getting into minimum, maximum, averages, projections, your what do you call it, your graphs, your SPSS kind of an analysis. You need to be statistically minded at this point of time when you talk about predictive analysis. Okay, so if you have a statistical background, or if you have a statistical forecasting experience, I would like you to bring that experience to me and talk about it. Okay, because HANA does very well predictive analysis. It has over 20 different algorithms built into it for analysis, clustering, and grouping. So what are algorithms of predictive analysis? We'll talk about it. Okay, there is R2, there is R4, there is regression, right? We talk about regression. Okay, we talked about analysis, we talked about all the the SPSS class. So that whole thing in itself is a 6 months statistics class. Just that piece. Okay. And then next one here is the text search. HANA does a lot of the search content based in databases using like the the text based search, and it uses SQL or also Java based APIs. It also is geospatial, stores and processes visual geodata within HANA. So it needs to be optimized for geographical data, like maps, right? Data points, where you can see longitude, latitude, how I can zoom in, zoom out. So geospatial kind of data is already kind of built into that. HANA does all those things. Okay, so there is a video here. It's a very good video. Let me play that. Actually, I was very impressed with that video. And then here, this is the whole HANA database platform. This is HANA. You can build applications, you can build cloud applications, you can do analysis, you can connect to HANA using Excel, you can connect to HANA using mobile applications, you can connect to HANA using APIs, you can connect it through a web server, you can write JavaScript, you can write SQL script, you can write SQL, you can do searches, you can do spatial searches, you can do text mining, you can do stored procedures, you can do rules engine, you can do predictive analysis, you can do business function library, and you also have the integration engine. So it has a lot of bells and whistles, a lot of power kind of built into that. Let me play the video for you guys So very good. It's a sales video. Okay, it's not a technical video. It's a very sales video, but at least you will see.
You know this situation all too well. You are asked to build an application that can predict consumer behavior on the website, on mobile devices, and in the store while optimizing the company's inventory. And finally, figure out the specs and start building your application when new data and more requirements start getting added to your scope. You get asked to integrate various data from multiple sources to include online streaming data capabilities and add analytics requirements to do predictive, geospatial, and various other complex data analysis. To tackle all these new requirements, you start looking into libraries that can make your life easier. You find a library that allows you to solve the data
So HANA
integration
has
needs, and
libraries.
another one to
Okay,
take care of some
import,
of the
import, import. Yes,
complex
Java
components.
libraries.
All of a sudden, you find that you need to change your data models. Your architecture is no longer working as you initially intended, and your code is no longer something you can be proud of. You start spending more time learning than coding. And worse, the great application that was promised at the beginning is starting to show performance problems. Not all functionality can be delivered, and you start getting a lot of questions from your boss. So, how do you fix it? Where do you start? Well, let me show you SAP HANA and explain how it works. SAP HANA is a platform for data-driven applications. It's built from the ground up for all your data needs. So you can do text search, define data rules, add streaming capabilities, integrate with Hadoop, analyze data using predictive, geo, R, and more. Let's take a look inside. At the heart of SAP HANA is the in-memory database, which organizes all data in columns, so it reads the data from top to bottom and only focuses on the columns that are needed, enabling fast processing and great compression. Because its data is kept in memory, there is almost no wait time between data accessing and processing in the CPU. And since you can basically query anything really fast, you no longer need to create aggregate tables or other indexes, keeping your data model and design simple, regardless of what future query requirements need to be added. To make it a rich development platform, you can make use of an entire set of functionalities for almost all data processing and analytic needs, including spatial, search, text, application and UI logic, predictive, pointing, rules engine. And to keep you flexible, you can also integrate other transactional databases, unstructured data, Hadoop, and various other data sources. You can build your data apps using JavaScript directly on the server in SAP HANA. Or you can extend the data functionality for use with other apps like mobile or web, via SQL, JDBC, OData, and other interfaces. So, what are you waiting for? Learn more, sign up, and start building your next amazing app.
Okay, so that's all HANA about. HANA now, you know that it's not just a tool, it's almost like an IT, right? It's everything IT does offer, you know, it has it. Okay, so let's talk about, I think I sent you guys an email. So what is this in for me, right? So you can become, using HANA developer, you can become HANA modeler, you can become HANA admin, you can become HANA security guy, and you can also do FICO on HANA. You can do BIBW on HANA. We'll see why that is important, because BIBW is optimized. You write BIBW queries or develop the schemas that are optimized for HANA. Okay, so BIBW for HANA. You can see BO on HANA if you're a BO guy. You can also do BPC on HANA. You can also do success factors on HANA, and HANA admin, HANA security, HANA modeler, HANA developer, FICO. So just about HANA for anything. Okay, so you can have, there are multiple career paths in here. So each one, you know, for FICO people, they need to say, how do I have collected 20 years worth of data now, my SAP system has been there, how can I leverage the data, how can I, you know, find out about my CO model, my, you know, FICO model, you know, my, you know, forecasting model, so how can I get better reporting out of my system. Okay, how can I leverage my FICO data and make it better? How can I leverage the data? So that's why FICO knowledge will comes into play. So you need to know what, obviously, cost centers, profit centers, GL accounts, your, periods, you need to know assets, you need to know asset depreciations. All those things will come into play when you're going and doing the, what we call it, predictive finance. So I'm going to ask you guys to bring to the class, your two gentlemen here, what is predictive finance? Okay, you're doing prediction, you're doing finance, and you're using HANA, right? Predictive finance. So do Google, bring a presentation on, some other use case on predictive finance. It's a very popular topic these days. And then some other BW guys, and I have the material here. How can you use the BW to enhance, HANA, right? So how can I build schemas, BW schemas that are HANA optimized? Okay, so we're gonna take a looking at that. And if you are interested in the hardcore HANA, we can look at the the administration, the modeling, and all the different tools. Okay, with that, let me jump into let me try to bring, see if this even works. Sometimes this works, sometimes this does not work, and I'll tell you the thing about this thing. So I'm just crossing my fingers, it is working here. So I am in the HANA Studio. Okay, HANA Studio is an Eclipse-based tool. Eclipse is a very popular, what we call open source tool. So this is a tool that's used for everything, to develop Java, to develop .NET, to develop any, pretty much any application. It's called Eclipse-based platform, Eclipse tool, development tool. So HANA uses the Eclipse tool. So I'm now connecting to a machine. Okay, I'm connecting to a machine using a remote desktop. Okay, so this machine here, I'm going to show you. I'm going to okay, I'm not going to minimize it. I'm going to lose that if I minimize it. So I'm going to do this. You can see the machine in the background. So that's a big server, okay, huge server sitting somewhere in Russia, or in India, or I don't know where that's sitting, but it has HANA installed on that machine, and it also has all the tools installed on the machine. Obviously, these guys did a pretty good job. They have BW installed on this machine. They have BW and HANA installed on the machine. They have BO installed on the machine. They have Crystal Reports installed on the machine. They did a pretty good job. So of installing every single thing, it's not easy installing every single thing. I mean, I could not be like, installing things on my, machine. Will take forever. It has Lumira installed on it, and it has all the tools installed on it. All you need to do is click, then it just comes up. Okay, it's very good. All it takes is I just clicked on one time, go to remote connection, remote desktop, and it came back up, right? I did nothing. Just very, very, efficient. I have no GUI installed. I have nothing. But there is a catch, because it's only one server. Not multiple people can be logging into the same time. Then I'm going to be stepping on each other. So I'm right here. Somebody can close my thing right there. Sometimes people will ping me. Who are you? What are you trying to do? Like, if we communicate via notepad on the server. So I'm in the HANA Studio using remote connection, and you can connect to HANA using many ways, right? So I told you, right, I gave you access to connect to HANA using cloud, right? And I'll show you how the cloud version looks like. It's browser based. Now I'm doing it via remote desktop, right? You can also do using your machine. Means you can install Explorer. Good luck with that. I tried it. Install Eclipse on your desktop and connect to a HANA data source that's somewhere else. Okay, like SAP, or like like the SAP Access, and all those different things. So there are multiple ways of connecting to a HANA data source. But the best way is through a HANA data modeler, and I could not get the modeler working on my desktop. It takes a lot of patience. It takes a lot of settings. First, you download Eclipse. First, you need to know how to use the Eclipse. Two, you need to work through all the JavaScript errors, Java compatibility errors, the Java things on your desktop. Two, you have to connect to a HANA data source, and then Eclipse would come on your desktop. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. So if you're in a company, that's how it's going to work. So you already have an Eclipse installed. You already have the Eclipse database installed, and then you connect it. You don't go through this thing when you're in the company, when you get a job. You might be logging in using HANA modeler, right? You may be connecting to HANA modeler. You may flip, things back and forth. Um, this thing is very confusing to me. I mean, go to a meeting and I have this thing and that thing. Okay, so that's their desktop. No, that's their desktop. Get very confused with these windows. Very confused with this windows. Okay, I'm gonna minimize that. That's my desktop here, and I'm gonna go to HANA. That's my HANA trial account. That's my HANA cloud account. I think it's my. I'm not sure. Okay, let me give me a second. Let me pull it up. HANA trial version. That's my trial version. Okay. Did I log in that? Did I log in that? I think it's coming up. So this is the HANA cloud platform. It's a free account. Anybody can go get it. You will get an account in like maybe in few seconds. So this is where I'm using a browser. You can see here. This is a URL. So account.hanatrial.ondemand.com, and I can see I can create HANA instances. I can create HANA applications. I can create Java applications. I can connect to my databases and schemas. The look and feel is okay, but it's not great. Again, this is a HANA cloud based application. Again, I can create HTML applications. I can do security services. I can do authorizations. I can do a lot of things here. Okay, so there's there are pros and cons, just like desktop version versus online version. So so with that, let me go to my this one. See, this is my cloud. This is my native version, and I'm gonna go into HANA. The way it looks, HANA is just to give you a background. HANA has two tools, okay, two tabs. One is called the HANA developer version, and one is called the HANA administrative console. There are two different perceptives they call it, okay. So there'll be developer perceptive, and then there's an administrative console. We are right now in the admin perceptive. The thing is, here you have to create a workspace means it's like a it's like a project. It's not a project, but it's like it contains all the things that you've ever developed. It has all the connections, all the views, all the tables, all the things that you have collected. It's called the workspace. Okay, so you need to be connecting to the right workspace, and I'm connected to workspace here called HANA DB1. Okay, and then here the HANA thing has a catalog, it has a content, and it has provisioning, and it has security. Okay, catalog basically is your all the data models or all the tables that comes with HANA. So catalog is all the actually the data, all the tables. So you can see here many people have created the the tables. I've actually created my own version here somewhere.
This is modular DAO, right?
This is the HANA modeler. Yeah, this is the HANA modeler. So I'll show you later. So this is basically all the tables, triggers. He has created a customer table, he has created a stored procedure, he has created an index. So this is all the tables. Catalog is a collection of tables, procedures, triggers, views. Okay, and then I also have content, which is basically views. So I have an analytical view, I'll have an aggregate view. So we'll talk about views, we'll talk about what these views are. Okay, we'll talk about these views here. In this here, he has an attribute view, analytical view, and a calculation view. So these are basically joins. This is my model, this is my data model. Okay, and I'll click on that. And then this is provisioning. Provisioning means I'm actually moving data back and forth. I'm importing data, I'm exporting data. It's called the provisioning. And I'm granting security to the users, who are the users, who are the roles, and things like that. So he has collection of very high level. This is my database, data source that I'm connected to, database, data source. I'm connected to a HANA database called BEST, B-E-S-T, and within that I can go do backups and recover backups and things. And I also have a catalog, which is my tables, views, my stored procedures, and also have my content, which is basically my content is basically my views, analytical views, calculation views. I'm joining the tables, I'm projecting the tables. That is my data model exists. If I have to move data into these tables back and forth, I would use these data services. Okay, to move the data into those tables. And if I have to give security to the people, I will do the security right here. Okay, so it has all the kind of bells and whistles to it. So I can go to very quickly go to the content. I'll just go to, yeah, I can go to an analytics view. I'm just gonna go click on this thing. Hopefully it works. Okay, and I can go back here. This is called the data. So if my data model is already built in, let me expand this thing here. Okay, so he already built his data, his foundation. These are all his foundation tables. He's taking all these foundation tables, okay, and he's joining. Actually, it's right here, T-cur table. It's a currency table. Okay, remember that T-cur table. So he's joining all that. He's creating his query, and hopefully this query works. So I'm going to go into the preview of this data, and I'm projecting the data. So he has a table built in, he has a view built in, and he has joined all the different tables, and actually this is producing no data. Okay, so I'll find an analytic view which has the data capabilities. So basically this gentleman, he's created the tables, he moved the data into the tables, he created a view for the tables, he joined the tables, and he projected some columns, and I can go into the data view and open the data, and I can see my data basically. Okay, so let me go back looking for my, oh, maybe they switched my package, that's why I don't see my thing here. Okay, oh, Verity Demo right here. Okay, so analytics, they did not switch it. Okay, so I'm going to go to product. So it's a very simple one, extremely simple case I've created. Just one table, and that table has two fields. Okay, and I only have 3 or 4 rows inside that, and I have nothing, no join, nothing. I just take the table, I just project it straight up. Okay, I'm going to go into the data provisioning tool, and I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to click on the product name, that's my attribute, and I can see my data right there in a view format. I can also look in the table format. So I have coats, jackets, shirts, trousers, and the product count is 3, 4, 5. It's a very simplistic case. Okay, very simplistic case. I've created a table right here. I'll show you my table. Where is my table? I don't know. Where's my table? No, it will be in my catalog section. Huh? Uh, I don't know where I created it. I'll find it. I created my table, one of these different folders. My user, no user. If not, we'll create it again. It's not a big deal. Um, system training HANA. Yeah, I forgot where I created my table. I created one of these folders. It's a basically a very simple table. It has two rows and two columns. I created an analytical view. I gave myself security and I projected it and I got it. Okay, so give me like 2 minutes. I'll figure out where my table is. If not, we'll create again from the scratch. Okay, I'll go through the whole process of actually creating the table, multiple tables, creating an analytical view, creating a calculation view, joining these things and going through. But at a very high level, I logged into HANA Data Modeler, and very high level, I have the data source. I connected to a HANA database called DB, and I have catalogs. That's my tables would be, and I have my content. That's my views are, and that's why my provisioning tools, and that's my security. Okay, so we'll have a good demo. We'll have a 8 hours worth of demo on HANA Studio. I have an expert, developer coming and doing a demo for us. It will be the week of the 15th, and it will be the week of the 20th. So we'll go through the full process, okay, in the HANA Studio. So today I think my job is to get you to learn the concepts mostly. Okay, so I just wanted to show you the tools. There are many ways of connecting to the data model or HANA modeler, through an Eclipse-based tool, through online, through your cloud-based. There are many clouds. There is a Microsoft cloud, there is Amazon cloud, there is an SAP cloud. Everybody provides HANA and for free. Okay, and this box, actually this machine, somebody, one of you, I can give you, not everybody, but some of you, I'll give you access to this machine. And HANA modeler. Okay, I'm minimizing HANA modeler. And actually, it has, if somebody wants, it has BW and HANA, which is pretty rare. I mean, it's kind of very difficult to get the BW and HANA. So, so you can jump into that in your class. There is no S4 in here. S4 is there is no S4. S4 it's a separate. It's a separate access. S4. It's not core SAP, right? It's a separate thing. It's not. It's not a core SAP. But this box has this is a HANA Studio. So I launched it, HANA Studio. It has crystal reports as well. It has a BAPJ. It has Lumira. That's the presentation tool that HANA has. It has some Excel sheets. A lot of people, the AK, that's a purchasing tables, BSEG table. You see that? BKPF table. Somebody created that. So somebody created all these different Excel sheets. Why I create Excel sheets? You're gonna create a CSV file and you're gonna import it. Okay, you're gonna import them into our system.
So you create an Excel file for you to import it. How to convert it to
CSV file. Excel is a CSV, same thing. Excel CSV, it's the same. So I'm just going to disconnect it for now, my session. So I'm going to go back. This is my HANA Cloud instance. You can go, figure things out. So that's what I need a lot of help from you guys. It's going to be so setting up. If you have set up something on the cloud, maybe you want to know about it. How did you connect to the data source? How did you create a table? How did you create a database? How did you create a schema? So because the menu paths are different for cloud as well as for the Eclipse based. And all of the documentation, basically I put it here, kind of end to end. So you can take it, you can work on that. And there is actually a cloud share that they also offer, by the way, HANA Access. So you can take a look at that also. And the biggest source for you is developer. HANA is this one. Okay, go.sap.com/developer. There's a lot of tools, a lot of material, a lot of learning in that particular instance. Okay. So career paths, you can become a modeler, you can become developer, you can become an admin, you can become a HANA security, you can become FICO and HANA, BW and HANA, BO and HANA, SuccessFactor, HANA, pretty much anything and everything.
So the associate focuses on what? Just the basics?
Associate focus is everything actually. Associate focus is these things actually, these three things. It does not include the developer thing. They talk about modeling, they talk about admin, they talk about secure. Actually, they don't even talk about admin actually. You don't even talk about that. In the associate, they talk about HANA basics and HANA HANA model and HANA security. That's it. They don't talk about the Java and .NET and all that thing. Okay, let's go back to the presentations. We have covered the presentation number 1. And we're going to go into presentation number 2. This is going to be a technical overview. We're going to get into more details about HANA. We're going to be touching base on HANA technical overview, HANA database, HANA modeling, HANA reporting, HANA administration, other components. So HANA is a flexible multi-source data source agnostic, means it's independent of the data source. It could be Oracle, it could be Microsoft, it could be mainframe, it could be CSV files, it could be web, right? Anything. It's an appliance. By now we all should get that concept. It's an appliance and used for real-time analytics. A lot of the keys are repeating themselves, right? HANA database is the core technology underlying the HANA platform. Remember that HANA platform is different than HANA database, right? They're two different things. Okay, in-memory computing is centered on ability to access data, not from a hard disk, but from in-memory database, right? So we're going to be spending, if you are interested in that, that's a huge topic in memory computing. I mean, you could spend, quite a number of months on how that in-memory computing works, right? People do research on that. People do PhDs on in-memory computing. So again, real-time replication, same thing. We'll, pretty easy. I mean, you don't need to do it's admin's job. Basically, it's not as a functional job. You don't do that. You ask the admin job. You tell them, hey, I want to connect to this source. I want to connect to this source, and you do replication. So you don't, as a HANA, modelers, you don't do with the real-time, replication. The admin's job, basically. This is a more complex view of the data. We have seen this one, right? We have seen administrator perspective and then the modeling perspective. We have seen two different views right there. And then you already know, most of you, ERP, right? You already know SAP and all those things. ERP is a database, is a replication engine, logs. And you have other sources, right? We have all work in companies, and companies have multiple data sources, right? And then at the top here, you have the presentation layer. The presentation layer is how you're consuming the data. Consuming the data, you can consume it using Excel. You can consume it using a web dashboard. You can consume it using some kind of an analysis explorer tools. Okay, that's where the presentation layer comes into play. HANA is a database. It doesn't have a front end. You cannot give the studio to the end user and say you run your queries. Right? You can't do that, right? Studio is for developers, right? And this is for the end users. They consume what you developed here. So Studio is only for the developers, administrators, the end users. Usually goes to Excel, the end user goes here. You create a HANA data source, you create a query, and you go to Excel, and from the Excel you create a plugin into the HANA model, right? That's where you get the connection in Excel. And then same here, from here I connect to the database, right? I make a connection, I get an ID, password, IP address, so I connect right here using the connection here, and these guys connect as well. HANA database, you have session management. Session management is very common to any database. So it manages the sessions. Who's connecting, who's going out, right? And when do I need to terminate that guy? When do I need to commit it? When do I need to reject him? So it's a session management. Everything has it. Web pages have sessions. Application servers have sessions. Everything has sessions. They manage the session management. And inside that you have replication server, which is a Sybase base server that connects to this. It kind of replicates it. Mostly admins do the job. You don't need to worry about it as much. And within that, basically, you have the transaction manager, which logs all the transactions, inserts, updates, deletes. It's logging all the transactions. Okay, it's committing. It's doing all the transactions. And inside that you have a relational database engine, and you have a row store and a column store. It's not both. Okay, either you create a table in a row or you create a row in a column store. Okay, it's not either or, it's one or the other. Okay, and you also have a logger. That's pretty common. Every database is a log. It logs, right? You're updating it, you're deleting it, you're inserting it, just logs, log, errors, whatever, right? You don't have to worry about it as a modeler. And there is a log volumes. Obviously, it stores on the disks, and there is a data volume. Sometimes it stores some data on the volumes that it does not need. There is a disk storage as well for HANA. It's not completely in memory. Okay, and there is also like a page management. What pages are read, what pages are rejected, what pages are in memory. It's called the page management. You see that in the data structure class, database class. What is a page? Page is like a 256 characters. It kind of reads into one page at a time from the database. It also has SQL. Obviously, we all know SQL script, right? SQL parser. And you also it has a calculation engine. So we'll talk about what is a calculation engine is. You basically do it has a very powerful algorithms, very powerful way of calculating things. Okay, we'll talk about detail about calculation engine. So this is a higher level, right? We're getting into more details at this level. So let's go a little bit more detail. Session management. Features creates, manages sessions, connections to the database, right? Each session has parameters, auto commit settings, manages all the client requests, analyzes, executes all the client requests. Okay, and then submits the SQL statements back to the computing engine. Takes a SQL statement and presents it to the computing engine. It features such as SQL script. We all know MDX. It's another engine that is a language, query language, multi-dimensional query language called MDX. We'll talk about that. Okay, and also has planning operations, calculation engine, and all this is all these things are part of the in-memory computing engine. Session management, it does the connections back and forth for you. Well, as a HANA modeler, do you have to worry about it? No, I mean, you don't need to worry about it as much. I mean, it's a session. Okay, you just need to know about it. Okay, you don't care. Maybe as an admin, maybe they care more about sessions and connections, and if you're more getting into more technical people, so you don't need to worry about it as much. Row store, do we need to worry about it? Not much, actually. You don't need to. I mean, you either create a row or column. You don't need to worry about it after that. Row store engine stores data in the rows with respect like a traditional databases. The main difference is it stores the data in the RAM. And column store is a relational column-based memory engine. Columns store provides a massive acceleration of data queries, and that's about it. Okay, that's all you need to know, not more than that. Okay. And maybe if you're doing certification, yes, okay, they might ask you about session management. They'll ask you what is a session management. So maybe if you're doing certification, you need to know, but not as a HANA modeler, not as a FICO people or the backup. Okay. So they might ask a question on persistence layer. Persistence layer handles the page management, uninstalling logs, redoing the logs, permanently storing the data on the disk. Okay, it's not 100% in memory. HANA does store data on the disk sometimes. Okay, if it's not used, if it's not like you don't need it at that point of time, any historical data, any data you can store still on the disk. Okay, so transaction manager is required to provide consistent views of the data. Okay, it provides the updates, consistency, right? Joins, foreign keys, primary keys. It kind of translates how to update it, how to delete it, how to maintain the database consistency. Okay. And replication server, basically it's a real-time replication of data from anything, from SAP, from non-SAP, from pretty much anything. It kind of replicates the data into any of those sources. Again, this is the whole view. I think we talked about what is a session, what is a replication server, what is a page management, what is a logger, what is an MDX, what is a calculation engine, what is so I mean, this is the I mean, people like IT bachelors and IT masters, they would really love it because it's all like everything coming together for them. It's like, wow, okay, I did it in this class, I did this class, I did this in class. Like for them, it's like everything coming together. But if you're sitting here, then you can read about it. It's not rocket science. You can kind of read about it, learn about it, and kind of go with it, right? And sometimes if you're taking certification, you need to know a little bit deeper. And if you're not taking certification, just in a FICO consultant, knowing a little bit of HANA, that's okay as well. Okay. The reason you need to know all these things, you're going to be working with a HANA modeler. You're going to be working with a HANA developer, right? If the guy says, "Oh, you want me to create the data in the row or column?" What does that mean? Like, if you blink, then it's not a good thing, right? So if you know, then you're talking to him in intelligent terms, right? Same thing with MDX is a multi-dimensional query language. The guy's going to say, "Oh, you want me to create a calculation view or analytical view?" You need to know that, right? So basically, or you could your yourselves could be the modeler as well. You could be working as in the authorization manager, giving security. Security is very similar to SAP security. They have roles, they have groups, they have authorization objects, right? What are the roles? What is a group? What is an authorization object? You know that, right? It's similar, very similar. We'll talk about all those three here. What does that mean? And then we're gonna get deep into those things. So, any questions on this level? HANA platform includes HANA database, provides everything, right? Your Fiori, web, and GUI and this and that. It kind of brings a lot of these new technologies together, and they're trying to sell this thing. Okay, HANA modeling, we just looked at it. HANA is connected to data source. The schematic relationships between data tables is called modeling, right? Is it a foreign key, primary key? I'm joining BSEC to BKPF. I'm joining CSKS. I'm joining KSO1. I'm joining what, right? So basically I'm connecting tables in the data model. Okay, I'm joining and I'm projecting. Projecting means I'm selecting one or two rows to project it, right? So fundamentals of the database, design. We already know those things. And we already looked at the front end tool. The front end tool is the HANA Studio, which we already looked at how HANA Studio kind of looks like. HANA Studio has a modeling view. We just looked at. It has a business objects. This is a BO, side. It's not a BO class, but the BO has data services. It has the BO universe. It has a different, BO is a different class, basically. And you also have this BW right here. Your BW is right here. So BO is right here. Your BW is right here. HANA Studio is right here. So why would a company need every single thing, right? That's the question for the HANA architect, right? So it's a question for a big HANA architect guy. Why do I need all these different tools? Even SAP doesn't know the answer. So does SAP think they know? They confuse the heck out of people, right? They develop, and they throw at people, and they confuse themselves, and they confuse people, right? That's what they do. Because a consultant need to make money. If everything is simple, right, then the IT manager is going to figure it out, right? They don't need consultants. So no.
Yeah, that I would have thought HANA would take the place of warehouse.
Yes and no, and I mean HANA again. I told you right at the beginning, it's a real-time database. It's not a batch processing. So there are still needs in the company where you need to do batch. So not everything. HANA is expensive because it's storing in memory. Licensing is expensive. I mean, I gave an example, right? Do you need to have a 3,500 HD Ford truck to go buy grocery, right? You can as well walk to get grocery. So that's the thing. That's the ROI. That's how much money you're spending. That's the ROI. That's the architect's question. Why am I using what tools? The reason they both coexist, that what I've seen is that BW has been there for a long time, and they've spent a lot of money. They spent a lot of infrastructure. They have knowledge on BW. They have reporting on BW, and they don't want to get rid of it.
Maybe over time they find a way to integrate
They already did. I mean, they already did, right? It's BW and HANA. They already did. Yeah, they figured out a way for them to coexist. So that's why the BW, because it's been there. BW has been there before. So I mean, you can't, just like ERP. ERP itself is moving away to S4. So people are going to get rid of ERP, no, right? So it's going to be there for a long time, right? So basically, bottom line is that a big company would keep everything. Large company, they would keep ERP, they would create S4, they would create HANA, they would create BW, they would keep BO. So everything, pretty much.
So if BW is getting them all the reports, why would they go on
Because it's on a modeler, because you can't do, huh?
It's a real time. That's the only reason. Because they're getting all the reports, right?
But BW had to write Bex queries. It's a lot more difficult to create the data source, a lot more difficult to do process change, it's a lot more involved. We'll look at that. We'll look at how easy it is to do with HANA versus BW. Okay. So in HANA, it would take me like less than 2 minutes to get your report. Versus BW, it could take a day, 2 days to, like I can do like that, just like that. But
the result is same.
result is the same. The same. But they're all going to exist. I mean, they're all going to coexist for a long time. And we need to learn everything because they're all going to coexist for a long time. That I think I've shown you the with this. Okay, so that's a good segue into the architecture part. I already shown you this thing to a lot of people. Architecture, uh, right here. I think I've shown you last time, right? This one. So why? Because there are different ways of using the same tool. So this is what you were talking about, BW and HANA. Why? Because I already have BW, I already have licenses, I already have queries, I already have programmers, I already have spent a lot of infrastructure. Let me speed that up with HANA and optimize my existing BW queries. Okay, that's one way. So another small company like yours, your company might come and say, I'm completely new. I have no clue what BW is. I have no clue what BO is. I'm just starting off right now. And where do I go? You probably go here. Yeah. Okay. So if you are a SAP suite and then you really wanna enhance your SAP, and this is a step 1 to S4. S4, you can't go to S4 without this one. This is a stepping stone to S4. So you have to be in this model, business suite and HANA, to go to S4. So that's a step 1. A lot of companies are gearing up. Accenture, IBM, Deloitte, all these things are gearing up for this big rush. Step 1. Why? Because companies are already comfortable with HANA. They know about HANA. They see the benefits of HANA. So now they are comfortable because it's been there for 3 years now. They're comfortable going to that route. They're getting rid of Oracle, getting rid of SQL, getting rid of DB2, and putting HANA database on the bottom. That's a step 1. And that's a cheaper license. That's not enterprise license. That's a much cheaper license because you don't get the front end tools here. You don't get the studio, you don't get the modeling, you don't get the other thing. So this is like a much cheaper license and much faster queries. They still keep the BW, they still keep they get the HANA, they still get the power. So they're getting, going from economy class to business class right away.
So the SAP Business Suite is running on Oracle
Today.
So if they want to convert it, what they have to do?
Migrate it to HANA database. They could call the technical people. It's easy. Install HANA, migrate it. They have tools.
So the whole
No, the whole upper part will connect to the lower part. Today, your system in your company, your FICO is connecting to Oracle. So they would take Oracle away and then put HANA, and then take the data and then migrate it to HANA. They're using that as a database. That's it.
So no more importing process.
Yeah, they're only switching the database. That's it. That common people, we do it all the time. We switch Oracle to SQL. We switch SQL to BW. IBM. I've done that many times, switching the database underlying, because licensing agreements, because whatever, right? You're just switching the database. For UFI, it's invisible. You don't look at the database. It's used to be the table. I don't know what database that is unless you go to the help. You wouldn't know. Why? Because everything is going to start faster now. All your ABAP queries will run faster, right? So all your reports, all your everything, whatever you see is going to start running faster.
So then it makes sense to have BW on this one.
Yeah. Yep. For the reporting. So you get BW and HANA, you get BI, Business Fit and HANA. So you get a lot of benefits right away, and lower licensing costs, a lot cheaper. So this is the next step for most companies. So most companies are where here. So they're going to be going here. Okay, but if you're a very small company like Netflix, you're based in California, you're a startup, you only have like maybe 500 users, you just want to get something up and running, maybe that's the option. But for large companies, I think this will be the Shell or Exxon Mobil or Chevron. I think that's still the an option. They will go nuts here. Large companies, they will go crazy if they go here. I mean, it's a nightmare for them, because I mean, you're gonna start writing all these things here again. Right? They would never do that. Right? I mean, does it make sense? Write a Java program and connect to your BSEC table and then present it to the users? I mean, people will laugh at it, right? So there is different, architectures for different things. I think this is where people are going. And then the next step in next 3 to 5 years is your S4 on HANA. Okay. So we've seen that. I think we've seen, same thing, business with HANA. That's where everybody's going. This is most people are today, and this is where people are going to. And this probably is long-term vision. Doesn't work for most companies. So it depends on what you want to do. I think read more about it. I think I would like assignments and inputs and all the things from you guys as well. And then let's go touch base on the use cases again a little bit. So now that you know HANA, now that uh, different things. So this is the Spirit Aero Systems, world's largest manufacturer of aero structures for commercial, military, and business jets. The process of manufacturing such massive fuselage and assembly generates a river of data, from processing and testing to manufacturing customer data. When the company realized that existing information systems is no longer handle the volume, they opted for a new approach. They choose SAP HANA to take the millions of data points and transform them into actionable information. So that's the key, right? It's a very powerful statement. Millions of data points, transform them into actionable information. So they're taking data and they're making money off that data, right? So they're taking the data and they're trying to figure out, how do I make money from my data? So that's what the big data is all about. That's what the analytics is all about, right? That's what everything is all about. So don't learn HANA just because you want to get a job in HANA. I think HANA is a stepping stone if you want a job, a role in analytics. So analytics is going to be a huge market down the road. Big data, analytics, reporting, is a huge market. There are tons and tons of jobs in that area. Okay, HANA is just a tool to get your analytics. So people are actually doing this. They're taking data and is transforming into action item. He's selling, he's making more money. Okay, 40% reduction overtime cost. What does that mean? Means they're making money, right? Reduce overtime. Why? Why am I paying overtime? Means your products are delayed, right? You promised something to the customer and you didn't plan really well, right? And your part didn't come on time, right? Or you screwed up on your quality. So it could be many reasons. That's how you drill down and get those, improved working capital. What does that mean? Means I don't need to spend my money. I'm gonna delay my AP, right? Faster AR, right? I'm gonna improve my cash flow, right? So all those things. Why it's important? They're borrowing that money, right? They're borrowing that money. So reduce the cycle time from 6 to 8 hours to 30 seconds. I don't know what that means, but I think it must be their production cycle time in their manufacturing operation. So this is what HANA use cases are all about. So you need to take the data and transform into actionable items. Oh, this is a DNA analysis, perfect example. Genome analysis is a revolution in healthcare. Genome has billions of data points and maybe trillions of data points you have to analyze. Okay, genome, there it's a DNA analysis. It takes 6 months to get your DNA. If you have a disease or something like it shouldn't fix. It takes 6 months to analyze the data points. Okay, so DNA, I mean all the biotech industry, all the genome coding, the bioinformatics, they use a lot of real-time data processing. They use a very intense data processing. Genome, billions of data points, and they use something called R integration that get into predictive analysis. R integration. Okay, we will spend some time on that too. Some of your MBAs or some of you who have analytics into its statistics. R integration is a statistical concept. Okay, we're gonna do that, and they have 400,000 times faster than traditional disk-based systems. Wow! So that's a that's a humongous performance. Okay. 20 minutes of personalized genome analysis. Previously was 30 days. So people don't have to wait 30 days. So that's the power, right? So this is the selling point, for HANA. Somebody wants to take BW out and bring HANA. This is why. But not everybody would need that speed, right? Oil and gas companies don't need that. Automotive company doesn't need that. The question is, do you really want to spend that much money, to do that? So that's the case. I mean, there is you got to look at the business case to see why do you need certain tools. Or companies can have both needs, right? They need this, they need that, they need both. So yeah, I need HANA for my real-time processing. I need BW for my batch processing. BW is on disk, it's cheaper, right? It's batch, it's cheaper. So there is no right or wrong. Again, it all depends on the use case. I will give you a lot of assignments on the use case. You have to dig deep into these use cases, and then present me with some ideas. Okay. So I mean, this is huge topics. Big data. I mean, it's like a humongous topic. Real-time operation intelligence is a huge topic. Everything you hear is like I mean, in 6 months topics, right? But this is just a stepping stone. I mean, introduction to you can say big data, introduction to analytics. I think it's a great career option for a lot of many of you guys. Okay, I'll put that here. What are some of the jobs? um, Big data analytics, analytics, data scientist, data, you know, whatever, right? So there are so many jobs in that space: big data analysis, big data scientist. Okay. It's 11 o'clock. We go back to my present. Any questions for those guys online? I'll close that. I'll go back to my technical. Let's take a quick break. Let's take a 2-minute break and then come back here. For those guys online, we're taking a 2-minute break. Any questions? Pretty quiet, folks. Anup, have any questions?
No.
No, yeah.
No.
Everything good?
I have a question to you.